WayofFlowingTime here, bringing to you another episode of Resonance Rising. So, last episode we did quite a bit of looking around, trying to find a bunch of good, active little things, and we did manage to find a few spells. So, I learned Divine Intervention, Fire Shield, and Magma Ball, but before we get into this stuff, I think it'd be prudent to go and make something called a spell book. So right here. So let's see what it needs. A spell book requires 3 string. We got the 3 string, and it also requires, let's do a drag and drop approach. 2 paper, 3 string, and 4 leather. Now I went out and killed a bunch of cows, so that shouldn't be a problem. So left shift and right click will open this up, and we see we have a bunch of different areas that we can go through to. So here we are. We got this. Now, okay, dropping it does not help. Now, how do we exactly go and cycle through these keys? Let's actually check that before making an idiot of ourselves. Ah, there we go. So they can be cycled by doing the X key and the Z key. So that will definitely help us, especially when we get a bunch of spells that we're going to want to look at. So another thing that we're going to want to do is grab some of our nice little stone over here. I think I'm going to go for the marble that's here. I know I could go for a better one, but oh well. And we're going to see if we can create a bunch of runes. So just using all these runes and we should be good. Now another thing that I created a while ago, or rather between episodes, was just quickly grabbing where are you? Ah, crap, did he take it? Ah, no, hope he didn't take it. I created a minium stone out of a bunch of shards that I made, though. Ah, there it is. Okay, so he wasn't playing for a while. So this minium stone will help us cycle through a bunch of dyes, etc. So let's go with Divine Intervention first, since I want to see what it needs. It needs a purple, green, red, blue. So 2 purple, green, red, and blue, and the different things we have are rose red. We also have some dandelion yellow, so making sure that we don't get it. So purple, green, red, blue. I think that's light blue. And let's check the runes just in case. Rune Lanu requires blue, and we should have some lapis lazuli in here. Okay, that should be enough for everything. So first of all, let us bring up our minium stone crafting grid and purple, green, red, blue. So first off, we'll need the green. Let's see. Purple, green, red, blue. So let's go with just a few of those, and then we'll cycle through them like that. So no, definitely not. We got red already. So here's the green. We're probably going to need quite a bit of it. And do we have everything? Okay, so let's go. No, we don't have the purple. Duh. Let's just take all of this. That'll be better. And turn all these into purple. Okay, so we need 2 purple. With here, 1 green, 1 red, and 1 blue. That is not how we do blue. Thank you. Okay. Ah, fudge. Made too many. There we go. Okay, let's organize our mess of an inventory. Maybe put all of the magic-related stuff into this. So all of the dyes, etc. will go into this, as well as our extra runes. And we made the green good, and we have an extra rune kula. And we're also going to, by using our sticks, make another spell parchment, since it'll be necessary to put Divine Intervention in here. Okay, Divine Intervention requires 2 purple, requires the green, requires the red, and requires the blue, and we get Divine Intervention. This is an Ender affinity and requires a lot. But wait, let's see, 320. Leave the nether or return to your bed. So Divine Intervention is pretty much a get out jail free card in the fact that you can get back home by using this. So let's put Divine Intervention here. It's going to cost a lot of mana, but we're not at that point yet anyways, so we can't even cast it. We're out of mana, so that won't help us right now, but there are a few other... Do we still have Spell Parchment? I thought we... No, we do not. Okay, that's good. I thought I glitched again. Okay, so let's go get some more Spell Parchment. We'll only need 2 more. And I suppose I could give that Divine Intervention back over to him, but, Okay, so 2 green. How many green are we going to need in total? 4 more green. And that is quite a bit to get the Magma Ball. First off, let's get Fire Shield. It's going to require 1 white, 1 yellow, and 2 green. 1 yellow. Here. 2 green. Let's get that out of the way, and we have our whites by our nice little bone meal. Okay, and we're also going to need our rune vestis, or vestis, or vestis. Okay. Okay, so white, good. Seems like it's a bit off in its texture, but I don't really... it's not really worth worrying about it. So there we go. That should be all we need for our fire shield. And we'll be able to see what it does after. So yellow, 2 green. And I think I'm going to make it a habit of only getting the ones that I come across and not trying to invent my own. Though, who knows. Okay. Let's see. Summon fire from nearby flame sources to guard you. Oh, that'll be an interesting combo with this, won't it? Okay, first off, yeah, let's go into a field and use this at its maximum charge, and then use this. Oh, there we go. Haha! Try to take me now, sucker! And I seem to be immune to fire while this is active. So that is certainly good. So now I'm an actual fire mage instead of just being a poser. So let's get this going and cycle back to this. And I shouldn't have a problem controlling any of the blazes. So let's see. X, C, and then bam. Am I out of mana? No. What I'm thinking is that it cannot actually summon the fire, or rather do any other fire, while I have the fire shield out. That might be the case. There we go. Fire shield? Fire shield. Hello, fire shield. Are you fire shielding? Okay, you are not fire shielding, really. Unless you're just taking the fire and adding it as the shield. Very, very odd. I'm gonna have to read up on the fire shield at a later time. But let's put that back in. I'm gonna get used to this eventually. So fire burst and fire shield will be a nice thing. Unless something might be draining mana from me, or I might not actually have as much mana as I thought I did. So I'm gonna test this out a bit more at a later time. But let's go make the magma ball. Magma Ball is going to require a bit of cactus green as well, and we seem to have some leftover runes here. So I think I'll just take these, or rather repurpose them, and they should be good. Okay, so can I leave them in there? Yes, I can, so that will be helpful. So let's see what we need, and then recopy it. Okay, here we go, magma. This is the first magma I've ever had, magma spell at least. So at the middle level it's 55, at the lower level it's 13. So let's go near a water source because this is probably going to be destructive. Okay, so magma ball. Oh, that looks interesting. Though since it's not against an enemy, I won't be able to tell whether, or rather how effective it is. So we're going to need to find an enemy to use this on. Ah, perfect timing. that was helpful, I suppose. Let's just go with fire, shall we? Something that's a bit more dramatic. Okay, so we got some magma. I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing with that, but can we color these? Yes, we can. Okay, this is going to be my fire. I've got the fire! Okay, so I'm going to level up a bit, then see if there's any other devices we can make with Ars Magica, or perhaps go, that might be a good thing, and go into a bit more of Tinker's Construct, because constructing some of that will be nice. So we're going to need seared brick for that, which is going to require, well, seared brick, which needs grout. Grout is one of those fun things that is required for most of the things. That is very descriptive, and it requires clay, sand, and gravel. So if we find clay, sand, and gravel, we'll be able to go on. I think we have some sand. That's good. And let's actually see how much we're going to need. And also cook up some of our raw beef, because that will be a little helpful for our survival at a later point in time. Then we'll go onwards. Okay, so it's daytime finally. Daytime has risen from its sleep, and we're going to go off and stake our claim on the land of our trees. So I think we're going to go out back to the big tree, the home tree, and see if there's any sort of room. Hello, Dryad. Let's see if there's any sort of room that we can use to make a good home for ourselves. What we're going to do after that is either go into mining, or I'm thinking what would probably be a preferable solution is see if we can find enough sand and general materials. I'm not actually going to bring much with me, because I'm going to keep that area as, well, either as the spawn area for when we eventually get some more people onto the server, or more of the nice base that Kieran can stay at, because frankly, ransacking the base and just leaving a note saying thank you for your patronage, I'm going to steal all your stuff, just doesn't seem to cut it for me. But hey, maybe I'm just too much of a nice guy. So once we get to the base, we'll scope it out, see where we can put some stuff, and then maybe go on, gather some gravel and some sand, as well as maybe some good fuel source, maybe just get an axe. Then we can cut down some trees, and then maybe get into a bit more, maybe not that stuff. Frankly, I am a little appalled at our residential area. You'd think that the zoning districts would prevent such a feat as that. Cave in! I could have planned that better. Apparently, if it looks like clay and it just feels like clay, sometimes it just isn't clay. So here we are in a nice lovely forest. I just raided that little shack that was over there, and the thing that was buried under the sand, it wasn't clay. So we also gathered a bit of firewood as well as some raw rubber. We'll use both of them to heat our extravagant workshop as soon as we get it started, because we need to get out of this secluded meadow. Not really much of a meadow, but I digress, and get into something a little more woody. And this little maybe 6 chunks that seems like a random blip in the terrain generation we'll use to our advantage. And hidey hole, get through the woods, hopefully get in a nice little area. Wow, that's actually... And it hides very well, I might say. We're going to probably need to light up this area. The mushrooms might be a good source of food. But this seems good. Let me back off my music a bit and make sure that this nice little area gets fully lit so that we don't have any undue mobs spawning here. Some here as well. We'll probably get the leaks out of the way at a later time. But also, there we go. The roof doesn't matter as much. And we also have a few random chests which we'll be able to pool in a centralized area. I'm thinking, if we have our chest room as here, and maybe have our other portions downstairs. This will be a good temporary, I say this in the utmost confidence, temporary dwelling. Though it is a good, nice temporary dwelling. So what are we going to need to do? We're going to need to make a bit of fun stuff, which starts with the seared bricks, and I'm thinking we're going to need a stack of these, let's say. So we need grout, so a stack of grout. That'll require a stack of sand, a stack of gravel, and a stack of clay. And a stack of my patience, son. So what we're going to want also is to just get our lovely crafting grid placed. Yeah. If I were to use one of those fire spells in here, I don't think it'd go well. Now let's see the stuff that we have. We have a Knight's Affinity Tome, none. This seems like a clearing Affinity Tome. We also have a spell recipe, which is, what was it? The Uncontrolled Hand. Seems legit. Seems legit. I'll have to set up a work spot here, but let me go out, get some gravel, get some sand, get some clay, and then maybe we can start making some seared bricks, and put it maybe right there would be a good place to hollow out a nice area. We're going to be starting with a bit more serious Tinker's constructs, and this would be the best place to put it. Now what also would be good, hey wait, is this that enchanting room ready area? Yes it is, so when we get our enchanting table, we'll be able to plonk it down there. That is good, and we don't even have to get the bookcases for it. So let me just go quickly get the stuff, have this chest as an auxiliary thing for all the ores that we're going to need to process, and then I'll be right back. Interesting thing you may not have known about Tinker's Construct, other than it being awesome, though I think you may have realized that. Let's keep this on the divine intervention. When you craft the part builder with different types of logs, you actually get different types of wood coloring. Now that I find very good. For instance, I used a nice birch log and managed to get a birch part builder, as well as I used a birch stencil table as well. These are going to be useful, and we're going to need to use them soon. So let's just put this here. Let's see. We have the part builder here. This is going to require the pattern chest, and we'll have our tool station right next to it as well. And then we'll have our stencil table in the background. Now, are we able to break this? Dang it, we cannot. So we might move it, we might not. It doesn't really matter at this point, though I suppose for symmetry, idealism will just go like this. So tool station right next to our stencil table. We'll have a pattern chest. We'll need to actually put some patterns in there, though that will certainly come. Now we did get some nice 1.5 stacks of grout. This should be enough grout for all of our grouty needs. So we'll have to put all of those in and wait for a bit, though it shouldn't take too long. In the meantime, I'll be able to cook up some more food, since it will be a bit of a useful endeavor. We'll only need 2 charcoal, and we'll have some left over. Now also some of this arcane stuff, such as the materials and you also, you might want to put away, and some other stuff. So while that is going, we're also going to want to cook up some sand. So if we cook up some sand, this will be a lot better, and I'm thinking only 2 of them. This will get us some glass, and we can use it a bit better. Okay, making sure nothing can spawn. I'm surprised nothing can spawn in here. Wait a second. Ah! That makes all of the difference. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be here all week. No, seriously. All week. As in, you'll never see me again. Copper! Okay, so we're going to... Obviously, it's not really helpful to have nothing in here or the pattern chest, which is why we're going to be building a bunch of Tinker's constructs. So what I'm thinking we're going to want to do is go make some Tinker's Construct. And we're going to need to steal a bit of aluminum and other stuff, and also hunt for lava. I think I saw lava nearby, so I'll go out and get that. Hopefully not die in the process, but you never know what will happen. Away! Okay, so we're back and I just realized now how many times I say okay when I open up. This is awkward. So let's go and close ourselves in. We should have at least enough seared brick to make something useful. And one of the first things we're going to find useful is maybe more seared bricks. Yes, why not? Let's just go with the stacks and so. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 18. We're going to need 18 of those in pure aesthetic blocks. So let's see. Up, we got a new thing. So let's read this book before we do anything else. And I'm missing my axe. Okay, so this is a mighty smelting. So this allows us to make our own metals, which is going to be very useful. So let's see, pretty much we got naturally occurring ores, blah, blah, blah. We need a smeltery controller, a lava tank, and we're going to need drain, faucet, and crafting table, or casting table. And we need, let's see, we can make bronze, aluminum, brass, 3 aluminum and 1 copper. And we can make manluin, oh, no clue, and alumite. Which requires grout, obviously, and we have a bunch of different options for making this stuff. Okay, so this is where the fun stuff comes into play. We're going to need a bit of a base to start off with, and that's where 8 of these come into play. Well, 8 extra, because we need 9 in total for the base. So 3 by 3 at least on this level. We'll keep the mushroom there for aesthetic reasons. It is purely, well, aesthetic. Okay, and we're also going to break this because we're going to need the next part, which is a casting table here. And I think there is a smeltery drain of some sort. And let's see, casting basin. What the heck is the casting basin used for? I'm gonna have to read up on that. But I do know we need one of these. And we're also, is the casting basin? Let's just look at our book again, because I do not want to get confused at this early of the stage. So we need a controller as well, and I saw another one. And that thing. Okay, so the drain and the basin. Do we even have enough seared bricks to make the entire structure? I am starting to think not. We need to put the casting table down first. That goes here. We'll have it nice inlet. We'll need the controller block, which I think it's like this. Well, we need this as well, so why not? And it's like this. Ah! Why are the controls so messed up? Okay, we don't need that. Let's organize ourselves a bit more. We need one of those controllers. We need a lava tank, which has one in the center. That is the only thing we need. We might need the casting basin, though I don't think it's anywhere in here. No, the casting basin might be for something else entirely. I'm going to have to check that in the future. However, we only need one of these and one of these, and that might be all we need. So let's construct it. We're going to need the other bricks, and we might be just shy. So first of all, lava tank here. This will hold the lava that we need. We need the smeltery drains so that the inside is like there. Ah, this is in the wrong place. And you can tell I am prepared for this no matter what. It's a 3 by 3 center, sure. However, it needs to be centered at a different point. The outside is actually on the outside, not the inside. Imagine that. Okay, so that's there. The lava tank needs to be pushed back by 1, and the controller is here. So that's good. We got that down. Casting table here. And if we put the faucet here, most of the work is done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bricks remaining. Dang it. Let me make some more bricks. So we have our extra seared bricks that we'll be able to lay down. I think I got this. There we go. And perfect amount. So we needed 8 extra. So it's a good thing that I got those extra. due to me maybe being derpy at math, and we can see because of the controller that it is active. So the idea of this smeltery, we also got some lava, so hopefully this works. The idea of the smeltery is to smelt with lava a bunch of different ores together so that we can make different types of alloys. Now, it's very awesome with how MDO managed to make this, in the fact that they actually show up when they're in the smeltery container. Now, that being said, you can walk through them, so they're more of entities, and placing the ores inside will not actually work. So, one of the first alloys that we can make is the aluminum brass, which requires a 3-to-1 ratio of copper and aluminum. Thankfully, we managed to get that, so that's good. This might be enough to melt everything, and the copper taking a bit longer than the aluminum. But anyways, so this will allow us to make more advanced methods, at least in getting tools. However, it does require lava to get. I think there is a way for lava to be pumped directly into this unit. At least I'm pretty sure there is. Only really one way to find out. I'm sure that there are different methods. Speaking of which, one thing I want to check. Liquid redstone, destabilized redstone. I'm going to just hop into cheat mode temporarily to see what happens when I place this. Bam! Liquid redstone, folks. Liquid redstone. Okay, let's get out cheat mode. Recipe mode. Can we get it in a bucket? Yes, we can. We can have a bucket of destabilized redstone in our hand. We can place it any which way we want, and if I'm correct, it actually sends a redstone signal. So if we were to place it around here, it might actually screw stuff up. So let's not actually do that. Okay, put that back. We're going to need to void this. So there we go. Okay, that is awesome, you have to admit. And we got our nice liquid awesome here. All of it's in the drain, and we got a lot of lava. So let's see. We only need to, I believe it's right-click on here. And here we go, we're getting casts. So let's throw that, not that. We need to throw the cobblestone down the drain. There we go. And after a while it hardens, we can right-click it to get a blank cast back out of here. Now this has several uses, so let's make a few of them, because we're going to need to make a few different parts with this. So here, and one more. And that is not all of it, actually. So we have quite a few. How many aluminum casts can we make with this? I think it's a total of 8. And I'm not too sure how many we're going to need with this, but however, let's actually just finish making these, and then we should be good. 7 and 8? Yep, 8. Okay, so 3 aluminum ore and 1 copper ore gets enough for 4 casts, which you may know you can put in a stencil table and get the different type of casts here. So let's go and get different things. We got a sword blade as well, pickaxe as well, wide guard. I think I'm going to go with the crossbar pattern. We're going to need a tool binding and the simple ingot also. This will be a good way to make ingots, and a tool rod. Are there anything else that we can make with this? Not off the bat, but let's put them into our pattern chest. We can make stuff as we were doing before by simply putting it like that, but I don't think actually we cannot with these. We can do something else entirely by putting them in there. So if we put iron ore, let's put iron ore in here and melt this. I'm not too sure how much of this iron ore we're going to get, so let's wait for it to melt and see how much this will give. This should give enough for 4. So 4 ingots of iron. This is going to be pretty much the ore doubling method that MDO and Tinker's Construct will use. And I'm thinking it's a very fun, albeit slow way and method to double your ores, though it is a pretty decent way to double, well, do it classily. Come on, do it classily. You might as well do it classily, and what's not to love about big things like that. Okay, so this is getting a little odd. So let's step back a bit and this stencil pattern chest isn't going to be useful there. Maybe we can replace the pattern chest so that it's instead with us over here. We'll remake the pattern chest at a later time when we have actual stencils that will work with it, but just putting it here will have ease of access to here, even though we will have to pull it out each individually. So here the lava is almost out, which is unfortunate. So what are some things that we can do with this? Better tools for sure, and this is the only way to make different alloys, such as, let's read more into this. Let's see. We can make manulin, which is cobalt 1 and ardite 1, which are very strong materials, so you'd assume that it's much stronger. Let's look at our materials in U and see if we can find those custom things. Alumite has a mining speed of 8, so this is going to be very fast. However, it's not as durable as diamond, so it does quite a bit of damage, and it seems quite strong. Mining level of 4. And if we look, there should be other things. So cobalt, mining level of 4. Ardite, mining level of 4. Here's the alloy, which has a mining level of 5. So to get to that 5th level, it's going to require quite a bit. And also the panel modifier is 2.5. We can also make steel. Iron alloy, I'm going to have to look at how we make that, though it shouldn't be too bad. And here's a tool station. This is how we can add upgrades. Okay, so diamond upgrade adds 500 extra durability. Mining level increased to level 3, so it doesn't matter what the tool was. And this is 50% more durability. Redstone increases the mining speed. And we have auto repair, which is moss. Then we also have auto smelt. We have luck. We have sharpness using quartz. And we have fiery. I think that's a new one. And necrotic and electric. This one I think I'm going to add to my tools when I get to... Ooh, what the heck is this? You are odd. Let's right click this. I don't think I've ever seen red. Okay, so that's just molten iron. Okay. That's unfortunate. It doesn't seem like we're able to smelt anymore. But anyway, so we got an iron pickaxe head. And we can do the same with the other ones. Now, I don't think there's any advantage in really doing it with all of these, though that may just be my imagination. Though we can make ingots with this. So if we quickly take that, we can get all the ingots out of here. Red liquid. I think there must be some sort of issue with that, though that may just be my imagination. We should get one more after this, and then all the liquid is gone. And here we go. So we got the 4 iron bars. There might be a way to automate this. In fact, I'm pretty sure there should be. So let's return that to whence it came. And that is definitely good. So just to quickly look at some of the updates that the server went through. Let's see, we got a few more mods on here, and they are working quite well. As you know, Minechem is on it by its very nature, but we also added Industrial Craft and Greg Tech. What we're planning really is to use Greg Tech machines by using some of the mechanism energy, so using not the Industrial Craft energy, but the universal electricity. See different power generations of that. You can see a bunch of awesome tools such as platinum armor, which is pretty much going to be from this, I believe, is not mechanism but metallurgy. So there will be different ways to get platinum, I'm sure. Let's see. Platinum brick, not really helpful in trying to find platinum. I'm sure there's some sort of ore we'll be able to find. In fact, there is a platinum ore that will be able to get platinum. So that may, depending on the spawnability, trivialize some of the Greg Tech solutions. However, it will be nice to see how it goes. So we're going to need to do a few things. One, we're going to need to get an actual power network and determine where best to put it. I'm thinking maybe up here, but who knows. And then we're going to have to see other ways to get stuff done. Maybe automize this or some other thing. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of Resonance Rises. Man, I haven't said that much, have I? If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. Ha! Dang it. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.